Tibetan Youth Congress has been engaged in a number of political campaigns. It has tried to promote the Tibetan cause at various platforms. Let us speak with Mr. Tsewang Rigzin, the president of Tibetan Youth Congress, about the role of young Tibetans in their freedom struggle. Mr. Rigzin, there has been media reports about the differences between younger generation of Tibetans from older. What do you have to say about that?
I think, there are times when the media tries to hype up things. In terms of the younger generation, there is a growing frustration. There's no doubt about that, because we have been in exile for the last almost 50 years. That's a long time. So the younger generation, including myself, we have not seen our country. We have made the promise we will go back to an independent Tibet, and that's what we will continue to work on.
I had somebody say that many young Tibetans want to go west for a more comfortable life. Is it true? What happens to the Tibetan cause in that case?
There is this phenomena, but it may not be on a large scale. But regardless, we are in exile, whether here in India or in the West or anywhere else. So as a Tibetan, it does not matter where you are, inside or outside, you have the responsibility, you have a duty to perform for your country. That's the most important thing.
What is your stand as an organization on the ongoing talks between the Tibetan government and the Chinese?
We know from our past experiences that we cannot trust the Chinese, period. And this ongoing dialogue with the Chinese and the envoys of His Holiness the Dalai Lama. Since 2002, they have met 7 times. Within these 7 times, nothing has come out of these talks whatsoever. And I'm not just saying it, but that's being said by the envoys themselves. So, as an organization, we stand for independence. We'll continue our struggle for independence. Nothing has come out of all these meetings strictly because of Chinese insincerity. They do not want to resolve this issue of Tibet. If they were, that would be evident from the talks, and there would have been some progress on these talks. They are just buying time.
What are some of the steps that you're taking to pressurize the Chinese government?
There are several things that we do, and it's mostly, most of these are grassroots levels. We organize protests, we organize, demonstrations, seminars, workshops. We work with other NGOs, and we represent Tibet on international levels. For example, the Chinese leaders are very proud people, and they want to be respected and loved everywhere they go. But as long as Tibet is occupied by China, outside China, they will never be received as a world leader, because there are always Tibetans there to protest during their visit. We have done that many times in the States, and every time here in India, whenever somebody comes, there will be protests. So they'll have to keep hiding, and they cannot be driving around proudly as a world leader. As long as Tibet is occupied by China, we will continue to protest their visits, and will continue to embarrass and shame them.
Are there any chances for the Tibetan movement to turn violent?
Not at this time. But we all know that nobody can forecast the future. But until now, all the campaigns of TYC, Tibetan Youth Congress, have been peaceful. And not just Tibetan Youth Congress, but every Tibet campaign all over, inside or outside, has been peaceful. That has to do with the leadership of His Holiness the Dalai Lama, because he always preaches nonviolence and compassion. All of us follow that path.
What happens to the Tibetan movement after the Dalai Lama?
There are some who think that way, that China is waiting for His Holiness to pass away. And if that's the case, which may be likely, knowing how the Chinese leaders are, that would be a big mistake on the Chinese part. But I think at the same time, there may be some moderates within the Chinese leadership who feels that they should talk and resolve this issue. So we'll have to see what happens in the near future. But regardless, even after the passing of the Dalai Lama, the issue of Tibet will not die.
Thank you for your time, Mr. Rigzin. Tibetan youth seem to be resolved to carry on their struggle with the Dalai Lama and after the Dalai Lama. This is Kunal Majumder reporting from TYC headquarters in Dharamshala for AJK MCRC.